Why you messing with me though?
I gotta mess with you because you are mess-wittable.
I'm mess-wittable.
You are mess-wittable.
Ow.
Put that in your dictionaries.
I need to put that in Yvette dictionary.
Yeah, they probably miss Yvette.
I think they do. I think they miss Cletus. Because Mr. Cletus be having them on a roll. You know, Yvette, you know, she real serious and everything. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you've been talking to her.
Oh, am I talking like Yvette? Oh.
Sir.
Let me get it together. I can tell that you miss Yvette. And I'm going to have to communicate that to her when we have our next conversation, because she always talks about writing, you know, a dictionary and putting all her words in there, and because people, you know, tend not to understand her.
Well, you know, they all acting famous now, and you know they got this show coming up in October.
That's right. That's right. Cletus and Yvette have been booked for a live show.
Something else.
I cannot wait to see the two of them on stage. They are going to act a plum fool. I know that they are going to just cut up and just be, like you said, something else. But listen, we are so glad that you have decided. Oh Lord, I'm talking like her again. We are so glad that you have decided to join us this evening for Beyond the Chat. As you know, or maybe you don't know, I'm your girl, your best friend, your next door neighbor, Natasha Cash.
And I'm T-Dub in the building.
Listen, we are so excited. If you are joining us via Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, beyondthechat.com, wherever you are joining us from, we so appreciate the love and the support and just having you on the show. If you want to talk to us, if you want to share your opinion, you got something to say, we're gonna get real serious today. We got some conversations that need to be had today. So if you want to communicate with us, you want to converse with us, share how you feel, you can call us. The number's on the screen, 833-282-2428. Ooh, something in my eye.
Matter of fact, you know, say hello. That way we know you're connected.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you know, Facebook, you know, loses the streaming connection. So we just want to make sure you guys are out there and you're locked in. All right, say hello.
Whoop whoop. Yes, we want to hear from you. We want to know you're out there, so we know who we're talking to, so we can make sure that we're reaching our audience and keeping you entertained, because we want to talk. Yeah. So
YouTube does it well. We don't ever have an issue with YouTube.
Yeah, Facebook is special. They want to cut up on
drops the connection. It's weird.
I think we're good. All
right, cool.
All right, so let's jump into it. This is my thought of the week. So this week we're talking about the importance of parenting. It's a subject that we can go on and on and on about. I'm sure have many conversations about. You know, people have difference of opinions, people have thoughts, people have different perspectives on how to handle children. But today we're going to talk to you about our feelings and how we see parenting, and hopefully you'll chime in and share with us how you feel about parenting, or give us some insight about things that we haven't thought about.
Yeah, maybe some things that you try that we haven't thought about.
Exactly. All right, so here's my thought of the week. The sign of great parenting is not the child's behavior, but the parent's behavior. Let that sizzle in your spirit.
Yeah, I think it's a hierarchy thing where, you know, it kind of trickles down, you know, and it's the children that's looking up to learn from you. So if your behavior is off, you know what? How can you blame them for their behavior being off?
Exactly. And I think the way that parents react to situations or are proactive about situations determines the outcome of any situation when it comes to a child.
Yeah, you know, and just thinking about that scenario, you know, you can have the best parents doing the right thing, everything on point, there all the time.
Yeah.
And the child just wants to go left.
And you know what? And because remember that a child is with their parents for less time than they are at school, with their teachers, with their friends, with other influences, with, you know, I mean, it could be anything that the child they're reading online. Right. Now they have YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and Twitch and bullying. Yes. I mean, it's a lot of stuff out there that are influenced. See, when we were growing up, we didn't have a lot of that stuff. We didn't have, you know, all these different platforms of social media outlet for us to, you know, take over the thoughts of our minds.
Right.
We were outside playing on the playground.
So much now.
It is. I mean, we had what? Nintendo, Atari, TV.
Yeah. But you know what? Which makes it that much harder to believe and understand that with all the resources that children have these days, how can they possibly fail?
Well, because it's more of an influence out there of negativity.
Like there's so many options.
Right. Because that's how we were raised. We were raised to, you know, make better choices, to find a different way. You know, back in the day, you had to be creative in order to succeed. You know, you couldn't just go one way or go, you know, you could go one way or another way, but people back in the day, because we didn't have that much, we were trying to find different ways to create and be creative and come up with different stuff. And we didn't have a lot of things back when we were growing up to be a negative influence on us.
Yeah, we made the time, and there were more role models back then, seemingly, than there are now. Everyone now is about making money and being the most famous. But back then, you had a lot of role models.
I totally agree. And now what's crazy to me is the people that you would expect to be a role model are the ones that are acting up. You know, I see so many, I read smart news and top news of the day, and it's so many adults that are acting out and acting crazy.
Like children.
They're acting like children. Exactly.
But the thing is, back then, you did not have the microscope on you to catch you in everything that you did back then.
Right.
So who knows what people were doing back then? Now you can be the role model of role models. You can be Shaq O'Neal.
Right.
And you know, people are basically just waiting for him to mess up.
Yes, they are.
One thing, and it's like they try to destroy your career based on one thing that you do that they don't agree with. Not that it's wrong, that they don't agree with.
But you know, isn't it like that, not just in the celebrity environment or celebrity world? It's like that in everyday life, like on your job. You know, even sometimes parents, when you have 2 and 3 children, or however many children you have, you know, that one child can do something to disrupt the family dynamic. And now that child is seen as the outcast, or what they call it, the black sheep of the family, because they're not following the path that you think that they should follow.
Right. Or, you know, you have the one kid that everyone thinks is the favorite. So they're always watching this person to wait. Just, oh man, he got to mess up. He got to mess up one time. She got to mess up one time. Oh, yes, there it is. I'm going to go tell.
Right. Because people become envious and jealous because you are put on a platform, or you are seen as, you know, the better of the bunch, or whatever you want to call it. And so, yeah, the eyes are all on you. People are watching and waiting for you to fail. But there is more pressure. So as a parent, my question to you is, what would you say your mom or your dad, the biggest lesson that you learned from your parents that has helped you being a parent?
Just, you know, it wasn't like direct lessons like, hey, this is what you should do with your kids.
Yeah.
It was just more so I was treated with respect, and I was trusted, and, you know, and on the way I was disciplined, and, you know, anything that I could have done wrong, you know, it wasn't so harsh that I feel like, oh, wow, this is kind of child abuse. You know, I didn't have to deal with that. I didn't have to live like that, to where every time I turn around, I'm like beat half to death or anything like that. You know, I rarely got in trouble. And, you know, so the disciplines that I did have, you know, it was like, Okay, you know what? That was enough for me.
Yeah.
My dad taking a comb or a brush and having me hold my hand out and popping my hand.
Ooh.
That was enough for me. I didn't need, beaten so bad to where, my dad was sweating after he finished, beating me. It was just something like, stick your hand out and, you
don't want that no more.
Don't move your hand back.
Right. Yeah.
So you had to go ahead and get a couple licks on the hand, and I was like, okay, I know not to do that. That's enough.
That's enough.
All I needed.
You remember when parents used to beat their shit? Talk about it. This didn't happen to me, but you remember when older people that are older used to talk about their parents used to beat them to music?
Ooh.
Could you imagine? Listen, back then the song was only 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes long, but that was the longest 2 minutes of someone's life if their parents were beating them to music. That would make me not want to listen to music ever again. I don't care about who in concert or who playing down the street at the restaurant. I wouldn't want to listen to no kind of music.
They're gonna work out to your time, to you messing up.
Right.
Like, oh, you want to mess up? All right, then I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna get my workout on. Your behind.
On your behind, exactly. So listen. Okay, so another question. What have you noticed lately that people are out of control with how they're acting out? Like I was reading Top News, perfect story. I got it up right now. It says a woman was charged after chasing a black teen around a playground with a knife while hurling racial slurs. Let me just read a little bit of it. An Indiana woman is facing criminal charges for threatening a black teen, and it's all caught on video. Tara Rowling of Allen County, Indiana, can be seen chasing a black teen around a Fort Wayne playground with a knife in her hand. She can also be heard shouting racial slurs at the teen as she chases him. Rowling is now currently facing 2 charges of felony intimidation. The probable cause affidavit filed in reference to the case. The incident occurred at the Weiser Park Elementary School playground, and it occurred back in May. And when Rowling's 13-year-old child came to her complaining that the teen had been physically assaulting him. So a YouTube video caught the altercation, which is currently serving as evidence in the case against Rowling. So my understanding is that what I'm hearing here is that this black kid was physically assaulting this white kid, obviously. And as a result, the mom came to the playground with a knife, hurling racial slurs at this black kid that was physically assaulting her child. How you feel about that?
Well, if the roles were reversed,
hello,
I have to protect my child,
right?
Regardless of what's going on,
right?
I have to make sure my child is protected, and then I'll figure out what's going on after that. Am I going to go after a kid with a knife? No, I don't think so. But it depends on what was going on at the time. But I'm a man, so I wouldn't have to, pull a knife out or a gun out. I would try to figure out what the heck is going on, because sadly enough to say, the child that you are, I guess, going after could, it's always a recourse for them to go get somebody else for you,
right? Even
though they're in the wrong,
right?
And you have to think about those things. Is okay, how am I going to fix this situation? Do I knock this kid upside his head and then wait for his whole family to come and get me, right? Or do I just break it up and figure out what's going on? And if this child has put his hands on my child, press charges.
So I would say my opinion is that the parents of this child need to be spoken to, right?
Yeah.
Because just like what we see, the parent of the child that's being bullied is chasing some child around the playground with a knife, which doesn't look good. And then you don't get the whole story. You get bits and pieces of it. And by the time someone pulls out their cell phone to start recording, this woman looks crazy. And now it's a white woman attacking a black child, but they don't know that the black child was abusing her white child.
Right. Could have been choking the child.
Exactly. It says he was physically abusing her child.
Right.
So to me, that means it didn't happen once, or it didn't, one thing didn't happen. That child went home and was like, listen, he is attacking me. He is doing something to me. And like you say, at what point do you say, okay, I have to protect my child? And I don't know if she should have brought a knife to the playground.
Right. But I guess when you look at it, if you can see both sides, normally when you fight force with force, if you're protecting deadly force, somebody that's inflicting bodily harm
right.
that could possibly cause death, then what you do? You find something that is going to cause death too. So it's an even playing field.
That is very true.
Now, if it's hands, they're just wrestling around, they're just in a fight, then of course you don't grab a knife and go try to stab a child that that may be getting the best of your child. No, you break it up and figure out what the heck is going on.
Absolutely. And then too, that goes back to parenting. As the parent, what are your options? Is your child okay? Has he attacked your child to the point that he needs medical attention?
Right.
Or can you go to that child's home and you as one parent work it out with another parent and let that parent deal with that child so that it does not happen again? And at that point, if it happens again, then you have an option to press charges against the child, file a restraining order against the child, and have some other options to kind of get it back to a sense of normalcy where both of your children can go to the park and not bother each other.
Right. And at that point, there is a legal, legitimate record that says there's a history of issues that's going on with this, and it is documented.
Absolutely.
So you have every right at that point to protect your own.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know if this is really a parenting thing, but this is news I just have to share because this was funny to me. I'm just like, where is your mama? Because you need to be slapped. You need to be slapped. Forget it. This woman, 33 years old, went on a date with the man for the first time and then broke into his house to take a bath. After the first date, she sent him 65,000 text messages. And if you see her mugshot, you can go on smartnews.com and look at her. She's smiling in her mugshot. I'm just saying, she has a smirk on her face. Yep, I did it. It says, be careful who you meet online. You could wind up receiving thousands of text messages after just one date or have your house broken into. In this case, the woman was accused of both. Jacqueline Claire Aids, 33, was accused of sending 65,000 text messages to a man she went on one date with the previous year. Well, listen, I don't know what he said or what he did, but if a year later you sending me 65,000 text messages or up to 65,000 text messages in a year because we went on one date, that's some serious dating.
Is he not replying at all? Man, at what point do you get that many messages and ignore them or block them?
Well, that's why she mad. That's why she broke into his house and took a bath, because she was pissed off. She was heated.
At that point, she's texting somebody else.
Right, exactly, because you changed your number.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Please do not text me 65,000 times. If I do not reply, that means I do not want to talk to you. And I'm sorry, at text message number 60. 65.
If I don't reply after 6.
That's what I was going to say.
Back to back.
Yeah, back to back. I don't want to talk.
Give me a couple of days to reply. If you don't hear from me, then maybe something is up. Pick up the phone and call me. And if I don't answer, sit sign. Then
well, I'm just saying,
you're not on my list of people to talk to.
Maybe she was just trying to check on him and see if he was okay. And because he wasn't replying, she became worried. And so she just kept texting. And maybe her phone was broke. I'm taking up for the woman. Shout out to the women that, be trying to love a brother and they don't be trying to love back. I'm just saying.
I ain't loving nobody back that's doing it like that.
Well, he should have replied to her text messages and she wouldn't have to text him 65,000.
I'm not falling asleep around you.
I know that's right. And then, you know what? Okay, everybody in their right mind knows that 65,000 text messages is excessive. But you went too far, Jacqueline, when you broke into the house and took a bath. What? Listen, I just want to know what was going on. First of all, he probably saw some signs that she wasn't all the way there.
And he like, oh.
But then if you only went on a date one time, how she know where you live at? Because see, y'all need to be careful telling people where y'all live at. Y'all giving too much information, telling people where y'all live at, and then they break into your house, y'all mad. You shouldn't tell them where you live at. The first date, I'm gonna meet you at least 5 to 1,700.
I'm gonna meet you at the police office.
Right. Before you know where I live at.
We're gonna be at Ferg's right across the street from the police office.
Chilling, hanging out. Yes, before you know where I live at. People, I just don't. Sometimes, when I was growing up, my grandmother used to tell me that common sense ain't all that common. And I didn't understand, obviously, as a young child, what she was talking about. And then I would say, Grandma, well, what does that mean? And all she would tell me is keep living. And now that I'm an adult, I completely understand what Grandma meant when she said, keep living.
Learn you something.
Learn you something. People are crazy. I mean, I just don't understand. And what, the one thing as a parent that it just sometimes, have you ever had this feeling of worry that it's like your children have to live in this world where these people are crazy? You can't even go to the grocery store or the convenience store or the gas station or the movie theater or the mall or the car dealership or the car wash without wondering if somebody's crazy.
I know. And God bless them that they're here when you're gone for a long time.
For a long time. Yes, because you never know what you're going to get yourself into. Let's talk about a few more things in the top news, and then we'll move on to our parenting with a purpose conversation. So we're talking about parenting with a purpose. If you're interested in joining the conversation, please don't hesitate to call us. The number's on the screen, 833-282-2428. We want to hear from you. We're going to be talking about parenting with purpose. That is our topic of conversation today. But just a few more things in the top news that I just could not pass up talking about. A 34-year-old Black male in California who was totally against being vaccinated has died. He was on Instagram posting, quoting Jay-Z, "I got 99 problems, but a vax ain't one." And he was in the hospital fighting for his life. And after being in the hospital I think he was in the hospital for a month fighting the virus, he succumbed to the virus. 34 years old. So again, posting Jay-Z, I can beat the virus. I'm good. And then as it got a little worse, he started asking for prayers. So how do you feel about that? First of all, how do you feel about the vaccine? Because we've both been vaccinated. So talk to the people about being vaccinated.
Well, personally, my feeling is there's a lot of stuff out there that you don't know what the effects are that you're taking, that you're eating, that you're drinking. There's all kinds of chemicals and half of the stuff that you're eating.
Yes.
Unless you're growing your own stuff and you're not, spraying pesticides on it to keep the bugs off. People are eating chemicals every day.
Every day.
And if you're not eating it, you're breathing it.
Right.
So it's like you win some, you lose some. We got a caller?
We do have a caller. You're on the air. How can we help you? Okay. Talk to us.
Got that right.
Woo. Right. Oh. Yes. Right. Yes, that is so true. Because you don't know who has been vaccinated, and it's it's not appropriate to ask if people have been vaccinated. So the most appropriate thing to do is to take care of yourself and the loved ones around you. So that is so awesome that you said that, to not only think about yourself, but think about your family and educate your children.
Yeah, because the crazy thing is you can't look at somebody and say, "Oh, they got the virus."
Right. You don't know.
You really don't know. Yeah. Yeah. And you don't even know you gave it to them. Yeah. You don't even know you gave it to them.
Exactly. And you don't know, your immune system may be strong enough to fight off the virus and the symptoms and to get back healthy. However, a family member or a loved one that is close to you may not have an immune system as strong as yours, and now you risk getting them sick. They're having to be in the hospital, intubated, or on a ventilator. You don't know.
Yeah. So we're at about 90% of wearing our mask everywhere, anywhere, and you know, that 10%. You know, we're gonna tighten that up too. But you know, we kind of relax just a little bit. And, you know, because, you know, sometimes when you're outside and you're not around people, you feel like, oh, it's kind of okay, but you never know who's going to walk past you.
Yes.
That's going to infect you.
That is very true. That is very true. So I know we're talking to, we have Ken on the line talking to us. We appreciate you calling in. Can you tell us how the virus has maybe affected either yourself or your coworkers, or can you tell us the story about, you know, something you've encountered that you can share with our audience to keep people educated of why it's so important to make sure that you're wearing your mask, washing your hands, and staying socially distant? Mm-hmm.
Hospitalized or in a ventilator.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Make sure we live, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Right. People that are skeptical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, we definitely appreciate you calling. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, and keep listening. We may have to have you back on the show to talk more. We appreciate you providing your perspective and your insight. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, so we apologize if you weren't able to hear the caller. We did have the volume up on the phone and on going through the system. So let us know, anyone else that's watching, if you were able to hear our caller. That was a great call that we just had with Mr. Ken Sneed calling in about being vaccinated or not being vaccinated, wearing your mask or not wearing your mask. And he shared with us that he contracted the COVID virus earlier in last year.
Yeah.
And so he has the antibodies to protect himself, his immune system, and he's encouraging others to, make their own decision. And he's interested in learning more, and he's watching people that has taken the vaccine. I know we've had the vaccine for about maybe 5 months now.
It's been about 5 months. I'm happy we got it.
Yeah, we didn't have any symptoms, so we feeling really good. So thank you, Kimberly, for joining us. Queen Sheila, thank you for joining us. Kimberly said, what are we talking about today? Kim, today we are talking about parenting with purpose. And so our caller was just telling us how important it is to educate our children about the vaccine and about staying safe wearing their masks, washing their hands, staying socially distant, and how important it is that we set the example.
Right, because it starts at the top.
It starts at the top. And so it's important that we, educate ourselves, because I know I've heard stuff on television, and I've also experienced stuff with us working in the healthcare industry. We experience stuff on a daily basis. I know people that have been vaccinated, and from what I can see, are constantly washing their hands and taking care of themselves, but they've contracted the virus.
Yeah, and one thing, you can't believe everything that you read or see on TV or find on the internet. But if you put enough things together, you'll find out that there's some consistency there, that maybe, I should listen to what's going on in the world, because not enough people really pay attention.
That is very true. And it's funny, we laugh about it, but it's really serious. Us living in Florida, a lot of people are like, all over the world, people are masking up and taking it serious. But we come to Florida and everybody's at the beach. They're at the restaurant chilling. They don't have a mask on. They're slapping high fives and hugging each other. And it's like, you don't understand that that's why the numbers are going up. It's because people are in Florida feel like they want their freedom. And I'm just going to keep it 100. Our governor is not the best at saying stay home, people. He's like, open up the counties and the city and let's just live life. Well, a lot of people aren't able to do that because they're going to be in the hospital.
Because you don't want businesses to suffer and everything. And hey, sometimes you just have to do the hard thing.
Yeah. And we have to think about our loved ones that already have comorbidities that can affect them in multiple ways, and it's sad that we can't get together on a regular basis, because we have to protect them. We have people that are immune deficient. They can't really go out too many places because of the virus, and a lot of people are careless.
Yeah, a lot of people are careless, and you know what? And you still have a bunch of people that are careful.
Yes, absolutely.
But the sad thing is, you even have people that are careful that's still getting sick. Yes. Kimberly said, preach. Hey. But yeah, it only takes one simple move.
Yes.
You can wash your hands, sanitize your hands, wear your mask, wear gloves, put the face shield on and all that. But all it takes is something like opening a door and then doing like that.
And now it's
something that quick.
Yeah.
Rubbing your eye, doing like that, and you got it.
Now you're sick.
So be careful of everything.
Everything. Yes. Kimberly says, I'm not trying to run into Rona or her cousin Delta. I'm trying to tell you. I ain't trying to run into her either. So it looks like so Queen Sheila is saying, I can't hear either. There's no sound.
That's
okay.
A Facebook thing.
It must be something going on. So if you're on, so it looks like Kimberly's on YouTube, but Queen Sheila's on Facebook. So Queen Sheila, do us a favor, log into YouTube and see if you can pull up Beyond the Chat and you see us live and see if you can connect with us there. There may be an issue with Facebook and the sound, so we apologize about that.
She can hear us from YouTube.
She can hear us from YouTube.
She can hear us. She couldn't hear the caller.
Right.
And now Miss Sheila is saying I can't hear either, unless she's looking at a delayed. Maybe she's catching up and she's listening to the caller at this point. So maybe that
let us know so we can make those changes. We definitely want you all to hear what we're saying, because we're always talking some good stuff on Beyond the Chat.
It is always beyond.
It is always beyond the chat. Okay, so listen, one more story. A white male in Georgia was captured on video charging at and attacking a 15-year-old black male with a belt for using profanity. He tried to beat the child.
Tried it.
The man beat the child, 15, beat the child because he used profanity. Now, what would you do if you went outside and you saw somebody beating your child because they cursed?
I'm gonna beat them. Exactly. You want to know what a beating feel like?
Yes, yeah. Because if you got a belt, I got a belt too. Now let's see who belt hit harder. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, how do you get to the point where you think it's okay to put your hands on somebody else's child?
I don't know. I just got a message from another listener that said she had a hard time following us. So I don't know if we went live on all our streams on Facebook.
Oh wow!
So we're gonna start testing our streaming key on Facebook just, maybe do a reminder every Sunday. Hey, will we see you guys at 6? Because, this is kind of frustrating with Facebook that they don't update, or they break their streaming or change the streaming key.
Yes.
Like probably every 3 weeks or every month or so. And it's like, we don't get a warning. We don't know until after our podcast
is over.
It's, oh, wow, everyone didn't see it.
Yes.
And everybody got to play catch up.
But then that lets us know with the number of viewers that we have while we're
it's fluctuating.
It's fluctuating up and down.
High
yeah,
as it normally
is. So we apologize, but we definitely will make sure that we do some more testing before our show, because we so love our audience. We love your support. We thank you. We appreciate you watching and being a part of the show. And we definitely want to continue our conversations and hear from you. So thank you for making us aware of what's going on. So real quick, because we're having some sound issues, we're just going to jump into our quick facts on parental involvement. And if you want to share something, if you can hear us out there, make sure you chime into the chat, or you can call us 833-282-2428 and let us know if you want to say something about parenting. So let's talk quick facts on parental involvement.
So quick facts on parental involvement.
Yes.
So the first one is children who have parental support are likely to have better health as adults.
That is so interesting. And I totally agree with that, because I feel like as a child, when your parents are involved in your life and they communicate well with you and they engage with you, you have less stress, you have less issues and problems to deal with. You feel more aware and present and valuable as a person, as a child, when your parents care about what you're doing and where you're going and what you have going on. And you tend to not, be as sad or depressed. I love that. Children, So support by your parents I totally agree with that children have better health when their parents support them.
And I think it's important that when children know they have that support from a parent, they then in turn, when they grow up and have children, they show the same type of support. So imagine if you didn't have support.
Right.
They're going to show that same lack of support when they grow up.
Or, you know what? Sometimes it's even worse, because, as a child, if you're not getting any attention or affection or love or any presence of value in your life, then you tend to flip that and become a person that's like, well, to my parent, I don't know what love is. I don't know what value is.
You don't know how to show love.
Yeah. And then you have people that are bitter and hurt and torn and struggle with relationship because of what they experienced as a child. People don't understand, and maybe people do understand, but they just don't want to accept the fact that what we learn as children is reciprocated in our relationships with men and women and co-workers and neighbors and friends. Wow, let me clap for myself on that one. Yes, so it is so true that what we see and what we do and what we engage with as young children and what our parents allow to be a part of our lives as young children is what we tend to reciprocate with our children and in relationships with other people.
Yeah.
So that is very important, that as parents, we support our children so that they are healthy, mentally healthy, physically healthy, emotionally healthy, and psychologically healthy.
Amen. And there's just so many ways you can support your child.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be going to a game. It doesn't always have to be going somewhere. You can support your child right there at home.
Yes.
With something as simple as, you know what? I'm going to sit with you and watch you do your homework, even though I don't have a clue what you're doing. I'm just going to be there with you and just, hey, laugh. If you say this is crazy, I'm going to say, yeah, this is crazy. At least you know that I'm in tune with your crazy.
With your crazy. Because what you think is crazy, I think is crazy
too.
Right,
and that may make that child feel better to know that, wow, even mom said this is crazy.
Exactly.
And then y'all can work on it together and figure out, because I know, when Shanice was growing up and she was going through school, I'd already been through school, so it's like, after you graduate and then you get certificates and all this other stuff, you kind of let a lot of that stuff go.
Yes.
And she started bringing this stuff to me. I'm like, man, that look a little different than what we did. But you know what? Thank you, YouTube.
Right.
I was able to go to the internet and figure out all that stuff. And
yes. Well, listen, that's the same thing with me. When I was in high school, I was taking geometry, and I came home and I'm like, listen, and I love math, but when we got into, this certain part of geometry, it was kicking my butt. And so I was like, okay, my mom was working 3 jobs. So I didn't really want to ask her for help. I was the oldest sister. So it was like, I'm struggling, and I don't want to bring home bad grades because my mom, I didn't want to disappoint my mom. And so I'm like, okay, I got to get this math thing down. Every other class I had A's and B's in, but this math, I was really struggling. So I'm like, okay, I've come to the end. I'm about to have a final exam. I cannot fail my final exam. So I'm just going to have to ask my mom for help. Baby, I go in my mom's room, and I'm sitting on the floor. She's on the bed. I give her some paper and a pencil, and I have paper and a pencil. I said, okay, Mom. So I'm trying to tell her what the math problem is, right? So the math problem was x squared times 3 equals blah, blah, blah. Something simple. It was more complex than that, but just to keep it simple.
That sounds complex to me. That blah, blah, blah right now. I can get the x and the square and all that, but the blah, blah, blah.
The blah, blah, blah is what we were trying to figure out, and then we couldn't figure it out. So I told my mom, I said, okay, it's x squared times 3 to the 5th power times 6, carry the 1 over 3/9 and such. So I'm I'm figuring mine out. I'm putting my numbers down and carrying and putting fractions and all this stuff. And she says to me, I said, Mom, what you got? Because like I said, she's sitting up on the bed above me, so I don't see what she's doing because I want to make sure I'm not cheating, make ssure I'm doing it right. So when I do this exam, I'm going to pass this thing. And so I say to my mom, I say, Mom, what you got? And she said, we may have to get you a tutor. So I'm saying to myself, oh shoot, I'm messed up now. So I said, well, let me see your paper so I can see, where I may have gone wrong, where you may be a step further than me, or vice versa. I look at that paper. Now I told you it was x squared, right? So x squared means x with a little 2 in the corner. My mama had x with a square at the top, and you ain't gonna ever find the answer, Mama. Yeah, don't talk about my mama. Nothing. Don't y'all say nothing about my mama, okay? My mama tried. I'm just saying. So my brother is a math genius. So I ended up calling my brother, because at the time he was living in Maryland, we were in Florida. So I ended up calling my brother. I sent him my math problems, and he was able to send me back some formulas and how to get the answers, and I passed my exam. So I'm just saying, I graduated with straight A's, and whoop whoop, I was the bomb. But it was rough.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. Parents, if you can't do it, get some resources. There are so many resources out there.
Yes.
And now, like I say, YouTube is your friend.
YouTube is your friend.
YouTube is your friend. If YouTube ain't your friend, you better learn who Google is.
I'm trying to tell you.
Google or YouTube.
Yes.
Figure out one of them.
YouTube is a good resource for a lot of stuff, but Google is also a good resource. I know when I am at work, people ask me, can you tell me how to do pivot tables and how to make this spreadsheet divided into 2 sheets and blah, blah. And I'd be like, yeah, sure, I can help you. Can you give me 1 second? I'd be acting like I'm working on something else. Don't you know I go to Google and research it? And I'd be letting them think I'm a genius.
I'm just letting you guys know that pivot tables has nothing to do with basketball. All right. It is not pivoting.
Right.
All right.
Yes. Pivot tables is Excel spreadsheets and formulas that go into an Excel spreadsheet. And it is a little difficult.
It is pivotal.
Yes, it is. So, but yeah, I mean, listen, if you do not know something, Google it, do your research, and check out YouTube.
Yeah, or ask the person who gave you the dang homework.
Exactly. And they probably have time. They don't know.
They probably have to look it up. They be on.
Exactly.
Give me 1 second. Matter of fact, I'll let you know tomorrow. I'm busy right now.
But that's why I be saying that, and that's why the teacher always wants you to come up to the board and do the problem, because they don't know how to figure it out. Right. And then when you figure it out, they be like, it looks good.
They figure out the right answer when they see a consistent answer on everybody's paper. That's like, okay, well, 80% of people say this, so I guess this must be the right answer. Or so I taught it wrong.
Right. So everybody that put 7, they all right.
They all right. But these people right here, they wrong.
Yeah.
We're just gonna put an X and keep it moving. We're not gonna explain nothing. We're not gonna say what, which is a great teacher. When you can say X and then explain why a person got something wrong, that's how you teach somebody. That's how you teach. But just to say X, figure it out. No, you got it wrong. You got 3 out of 10 wrong. Now you done failed the test. You're like,
yeah, and I can't say that. I did have some good teachers in school. When I did get an answer to a math problem or anything wrong, my teachers would write it out so that I could see where I went wrong. Say, and it's like, oh man.
Sometimes something real simple.
Yes.
And that's it with math. You can one simple thing, especially when you're doing calculus or trig, and it's a whole 2 pages of stuff, and you're like,
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I hope I didn't get nothing wrong. You get to the very end,
all the way back.
And then you figure out, but this don't look right. You gotta start over,
man. And then you realize you did 6 times 8, and you did 47 instead of 48, and now you pissed off. Yeah.
If somebody get 2, and you try to figure out what the heck they get 2 out of all of that.
Listen, that ain't no joke.
We started at 12,000.
So if you, but if you're parenting and you are engaging with your children, you are following them through the process of school, and it'll be easier.
Be connected.
Yes, that is awesome. Be connected. All right, just a few more and we're done. So students with involved parents tend to earn higher grades, have better social skills, and are more likely to graduate and go on to post-secondary education when their parents are involved in what they have going on. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true. Because, as a child, when your parent thinks highly of you or speaks highly of you, I don't know about you, but a lot of children want to live up to that.
Yeah, you walk around proud. You walk around with your chest, you're like, okay, I'm not going to mess this up.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
not going to mess up. And, sometimes you have a child that, is consistent in being the good child, making the right moves. But the minute they mess up that little image, and then they start going downhill because it's like, I done messed up now.
Yeah.
So I don't really have anything to uphold. So there's parents, you have to give that child some kind of restructuring.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be their cheerleader at all times. When they mess up, you still got to be their cheerleader.
Yeah.
Come on.
And can I just say one thing? You know how as parents we go to work 5 days a week and then we get a weekend break, but sometimes you want that extra day off. Please give your children a mental day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when your child says, I just don't feel like going to school, I just don't feel like doing it, think about yourself, how you work hard every day. You're up at 5, getting ready for work, and you got to go to work and put on your best face, and you got to interact and engage with your coworkers and your superiors and your teammates and all these different people from different departments. And then you feel like, okay, I need a day off. I'm taking Friday off because I just need a mental break. Well, that's the same thing with children. Children go to school, they engage with their classmates. They engage with different teachers. They engage with the principal. They engage with the sometimes the social worker or the guidance counselor or the football coach. I mean, the people in the lunchroom. I mean, it's just so many people that children are engaging with on a regular basis that we don't give them room to say, I need a minute. And then when we don't assess that and gauge that, speedometer with them, whether they're going a little too fast, we need to slow them down, and they're going too slow, we need to speed them up, or whatever it is, we tend to lose sight of what's going on with our children. So sometimes children do need a mental break.
Right, that's true. And sometimes when you lose that sight, it goes into our next line item, that's when children kind of fall off and they'll end up drinking or smoking or picking up bad influences that they're around.
Yeah.
And you know what? When they find out you don't care because you just need a break all the time,
right?
Then you know what? They're going to find something to make you care about.
Exactly. And that's when children tend to act out. I'm so glad you took us to that point, because I realized that a lot of times children don't act out just because, you just bad. No, That's not the case. A lot of times children act out because they're lacking attention. They're lacking love. They're lacking that desire to be engaged. I heard a child one day my oldest daughter, Brianna, she had a girlfriend who was in a single parent home.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was not strict, but I was always on top of what my kids were doing, and my kids did not spend the night away from home until they got much, much older, well into their teens, 16, 17, 18, but they never spent the night away from home because, we always played games and I stayed engaged with my children. But she had a girlfriend who just was out in the streets. I mean, it'd be 1 o'clock in the morning. We'd be going to pick her up because she don't have a way home, or she'd be across on the other side of town, 20, 30 minutes from where she lived. Her grades were failing. I mean, it was just really bad. And so one day I heard the two of them, I allowed her to spend the night with us. And so I heard her, I was walking past their room and I heard her tell my daughter, she said, I love coming over to your house because your mama don't play. And she said, if only my mom cared about what I did, I wouldn't do all the things I do. And that really, really made me just like cringe, but also feel good.
Yeah.
Because that let me know that the reason why she was doing the million crazy things that she was doing is she just wanted to know that her mom cared, that her mom, you know, was interested in what she was doing or what she had going on. Right. And my kids can tell you to this day, like, they love me to pieces because I go to the end of the world for them, but I snatch them if I have to.
It's about respect.
Absolutely. And my kids are way grown. All of our kids are grown. But if we have to jack them up, they know, listen, it's a matter of representing your family. You know, as a child, you're not just representing mom and dad, and that's very important because that you're in the household with them. But when you go out into school, on your job, in a restaurant, a bowling alley, or wherever you go, you're representing your entire family.
Yeah.
Because if something happens to you, if you get locked up or if you get beat up and you're in the hospital, it's not just your mom or your dad that are affected by what's going on with you. It is your entire family.
Oh, yeah. Because everybody got to pull together because of something you did.
Exactly. So we need to keep that in mind. And it's not something that, oh, because you did something big that, oh my God, your family has to rally together. It can be something small. You know, let's say something happens in your home, an appliance breaks, right? So now you're affected, your children are affected because they can't use the stove and all this stuff. But then you call a family member that knows how to fix the stove or replace the stove or knows what kind of stove to purchase. Now that family member is being affected by it because now they have to, you know, get engaged. So we have to remember simple stuff. Relationship. When you are in an argument with your brother or your sister, that affects everybody else in the family because now it becomes a hardship on your relationship with the other siblings because one sibling has an issue with what you said or what you did. And now people's emotions are involved in that relationship.
Yeah. And even though you say, oh, don't say nothing so and so, there's certain people that just don't keep stuff from each other.
Exactly.
So they gotta say something to the person they always talk to.
Absolutely.
And then that other person's affected.
Yes. And you know what? Sharing is healthy, you know, because a lot of times, not that you want to gossip and tell everybody's business, but a lot of times sharing is healthy because the person that you share it with, that you trust, not that you're sharing it with everybody, but the person you're sharing it with that you trust may have some insight or see a different perspective to help you understand the situation better.
Yeah, may have gone through it already.
Exactly. And that's the same thing with our children. Us growing up, you know, through childhood, experiencing things, that's how we can share with our children what to do, what not to do. And a lot of times children need to experience it for themselves. But the good thing is that as a parent, you let your child be a child, but you're there to help them get through those moments that they need a little bit more push, a little bit more discipline, a few more conversations.
Yeah, let them live and learn, because if there's no lessons, there's nothing taught.
Absolutely. So being a parent is amazing. Mm-hmm. It has wonderful benefits. We are proud parents.
Oh yeah.
Very proud parents, not just parents, but very proud grandparents. We have some amazing grandsons as well. And we want to end our show with one more thing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this.
Yes.
But next week, we're going to go over the 4 C's of parenting.
Okay.
All right. And that's choices, consequences, consistency, and care.
All right.
So make sure you come back next week, because it's going to be some good stuff.
Yes. So you want to close us out with our final thought?
Well, parents play an irreplaceable role in their lives of the children.
Yes.
All right. This vital relationship positively impacts a child's physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Mm-hmm. The right of parents to maintain a strong involvement in their children's lives has been continually upheld by the Supreme Court.
Wow.
Doctrine. Okay. It is deeply valued by millions of American families.
That is so true. I love the very first line that you said, that parents play an irreplaceable role in the lives of their children. Children look up to their parents. Everybody out there knows, mama's boys and daddy's girls. You know, that's like, a lot of people be getting mad. They be like, he can't never do nothing wrong. You always thinking of him. And I'll be like, That's my son.
Hey, but the funny thing is, every time you see somebody on TV, hi, Mom. Why don't say hi, Dad? A lot of times the mom and the dad are right there.
That is
hi,
true.
Mom.
Well, I mean,
Well, your mom does have more caring and compassion.
Yes, they do.
And, the nurturing. So that hi, Mom is like respect, Mom. Dad the one got him behind about everything, so I ain't gonna say nothing to him.
Well, then too, like you said, a lot of times the mom praises a child more than the dad does, and it's not that dads aren't, praising. They're very proud. They, sticking their chest out, but they don't say it as much as the mom does. And so a mom is the one that's constantly saying, "You can do it." Listen, I gotta tell you a quick story. When my son was playing football, every single football team he ever played against, they knew me because I would scream when my son would get the ball. I would say, "That's my baby, that's my baby." And it got to the point that people, when my son would get the ball and he would be running, they'd be yelling, "We know that's her baby." But I always screamed for my son. And when my son would make a touchdown, he would always look up in the stands and point to his mama because he knew I was up there and I was rooting for him and I was screaming for him. "That's my baby. That's my baby." And I remember one time I was so bad at it. One day I don't know if it was the Super Bowl or whatever it was. And they threw the ball to my son and my son was running down the sideline. I went all the way to the other people's side, the opposing team side. And I was like, "Run for your mama, run for your mama, run for," and they was like, "Lady, he's running for the team." Okay. I was like, "Forget y'all, he running for his mama."
Going back over there with your colors.
Exactly. Yes. And we had two totally different colors. So they knew I ain't belong over there. But whatever. I was screaming for my baby. And the one or two times that I couldn't make his game, they lost. Because his mama wasn't there. But even even Brianna's basketball team, I would be screaming, "Do it, Bree, get it, Bree, come on, Bree, let's go, Bree, y'all want y'all to win." But I would be screaming for all the kids too. But of course, as a mom, I'm rooting for my child to make a lot of baskets. But I'd be like, "Y'all can do it, let's go, come on, get your head in the game, be excited, and I would just try to do my best to cheer them on and be the loudest cheerleader. And when I couldn't make the games, everybody, Brianna would come on, "Mom, everybody want to know why you wasn't at the game. We lost." And they'd be like, because I wasn't there cheering them on. So it is so important as parents that we are our children's biggest and loudest cheerleaders in every moment that they have. And when they have their downfalls, we be their biggest motivator to bring them back to a healthy space.
Yeah. And speaking of cheerleaders, even though my daughter didn't like being out there running and in the sun and all that kind of stuff, she was a cheerleader since she was
little tiny thing. Yeah.
And and one thing she always was happy to see is me in the stands, even though I didn't cheer, but I was there to support her in whatever she wanted to do.
Right.
And hey, I was her cheerleader.
Absolutely.
And she loved seeing Daddy in the stands. And because I wasn't there for the game, I was there to see her perform.
Exactly.
That was her way of performing. She loved to do it, and I was there to support.
And that was her moment. And you watched her shine, and you watched her be great at it.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, you were there for all of the events, and you supported her, and she loved looking up, seeing Daddy in the stands. And listen, even we go to Jayla's soccer games. I don't know about soccer. All I know is I think the ball supposed to go and you kick it that way, and they kick it that way. That's all I know.
Just kick each other.
All this hitting in the head and bumping it with your chest and using your knees. Listen, why we can't use our hands? I don't understand. So somebody's gonna have to educate me on soccer. But listen, it's not about me knowing how to play soccer. It's about me being there to support her for her game.
There you go.
And showing her, I videotaped you. I saw you kick the ball in the goal. And I was there when you made the shot and all this stuff. Those are the moments that you cannot replace. Those are the moments that you cannot get back. And they mean everything to your child.
Oh yeah. And when they say, "Yeah, I heard you, Mom," that is big, because when they don't hear you, you know what? They know that too. They know when they don't hear you.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
So.
And listen, that's how our kids were. When they didn't hear me screaming, they was like, "Did she go to the bathroom?" And people be looking like, "Where's his mama? Did she miss it?" Yes, because I'm screaming for my children.
Yeah,
you don't like it? Oh, well.
I got to tell you they scored, and it's like, oh shoot.
Yes.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I didn't never know.
I
really didn't think you was gonna ever score. But I was here in the stands. At least I was here.
Listen, especially at them soccer games, I'll be getting so mad. I'm like, listen, why is the score 1-1 and y'all been playing for 2 hours? I don't want to come. Can you play something else, please, Jesus? So, but hey, parents, be good to your kids. devote time and attention, love and care, instill value, morals, love and support into them. And you will be all the difference in their lives.
And it's never too late to be a father or a mother or a daddy or a mommy. No. It's never too late.
Never, ever.
So don't think because your child is 18 or 21 that you
or
have
50.
stopped. You can stop. Or 50.
Hello.
Be that daddy. Be that mom.
Yes.
And I thank my parents for being just that, mommy and daddy.
And I thank my mom. I love my mom. I talk about her all the time. I talk about my stepdad. I talk about my dad all the time. But yes, I'm 45 and I still want to be cared for and loved and nurtured and given attention. I'm spoiled. Mm-hmm. So I don't care that I'm a grown woman taking care of myself and going to work with my own job and my own kids and a grandmother. I don't care. I still want the love of my mom and my dad.
It's very important. And hey, and now that, you know, I am married, I really love my mother-in-law. And it's such a blessing to have such a beautiful and sweet and caring mother-in-law. That's a blessing. Because some people, they go through their marriages, you know, dreading those visits.
Yes.
And, you know, I look forward to them.
Me too.
You know, it's nothing but love on both sides. And it's just a great feeling. It's great.
Absolutely.
Great feeling.
And it is a great feeling every time we do our podcast and Dad chimes in and hi there, family. And I'm like, I'm beating you to the keyboard to respond to him just because, like you said, it is always a pleasure to engage with my mother-in-law, with my father-in-law, with everybody on your side of the family. Is always something fun and we have good times. And so that in itself is a blessing.
Nothing like a good family.
Yes. So listen, that is our show. We hope that we've said something that has touched your heart or encouraged you or motivated you to be a better parent, even though we know we have some great parents listening, but we hope that it encourages you to even make a phone call to your child. Just tell them that you love them, you're thinking about them, they're special and they're important to you. I know we get ready to go, but can I just say one more thing?
Well, let me say one thing.
Okay, go.
You don't even have to put the V in it. You can say, I love you.
Love you very much.
I love children. Tell your children. You don't even have to put the V in it.
Love you.
You know, something is, hey, love you. You know, I mean, something as simple as that. Yeah. You know, because some fathers they get to this thing where they gotta always be the strong. The much love you is better than nothing.
That is very true.
Love
Absolutely.
you, man. Love you, man. You don't even have to put the V in it. You know what? Love. All right, just take that
and they know what you mean, right?
Take that, love you.
I love you. I like it. But what I was going to say is my birthday was a couple weeks ago, and I received a birthday card in the mail from my father-in-law and mother-in-law, and it was so beautiful. I put it in my little secret spot so that I could hold on to it. It just really touched my heart. And I mean, the words were beautiful. They were everything. They meant so much to me. And so that made me feel really good as a daughter-in-law. I'm like, hey, I got it going on.
Yeah, I was actually going to take those lyrics and write a song, but I'm like, oh, but you're not my daughter, so that won't make sense.
But yes, it was a beautiful card. And I absolutely loved reading it. I think I've read it like 3 or 4 times now. The words were perfect. And so it made me feel good.
Awesome sauce.
Well, listen, that is our show. We love you for watching. We love you for listening. Make sure you stay tuned because, we got something special next Sunday. We're going to be playing an on-the-spot interview with the Line Dance Connection in Tampa, Florida. So we look forward to interviewing Queen Sheila. We're going to be doing some line dancing, y'all. So make sure y'all pay attention. Whoop, whoop. Hey,
they're gonna be doing the line dance.
Yeah, we're gonna hear.
I'll be filming. I'll be somewhere.
Keep playing, keep it real, down to it. Hey, from the bottom to the top. Did I do it wrong? I think I did it wrong. Oh well.
It don't matter.
Hey, I know, right? Hey.
Hey.
Next Sunday, 6 p.m. Tell a friend. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video. And we'll see you next Sunday. Peace. Thanks for watching.